Disco Elysium time. I will play Disco Elysium. I just don't think that people are that interested in it, but I will continue it and build communism as I promised. But as I've mentioned already, if people are not interested in it, I'm just going to stop playing it. Considering that it's a wonderful game that I very much enjoyed. Game of Thrones Telltale? No, my next one is going to be Batman Telltale. I heard really good things about that.
Scab?
What did he just call you? A... Oh no, not this again. You just got away from that kid.
A kind of a worm, content with mere survival. They come, they want to do our job for shittier pay, screwing over both themselves and us. Everybody loses.
Lock in. Kind of worm, content with your... You don't seem to like them much.
Gotta be bloody stupid or freaking evil to Scab. Or I guess scared maybe. But scared of what? Of who? Personally, I'd rather beg than Scab. If the gentleman shouting on the street came begging, maybe they'd have gotten something.
Have you tried talking to them?
We've explained the matters, but they don't listen. This lot would be reasonable and go home if the big guy wasn't riling them up all the time.
I'm not a scab. I'm a cop.
I was just messing with you. No one's ever seen a cop Scab. Imagine, you cops going on a strike, but then another cop comes in and says, let us cop for less money. Speaking of, what brings the RCM here? To the wild north? Come to see the strife?
Come to Martinez investigating a murder.
Murder, huh? That sounds like a lot of hard work. You'd never see me investigating a murder.
You're right. It's almost impossible. I'm 91% sure I'll never get it solved.
Probably not. I wouldn't even know where to start with that. Much better here at the harbor, for an honest union man like me.
I'm a bit short on money right now. Can you give me some of it?
Sure thing, my friend. I can help you out.
The coin narrowly slips by your outstretched fingers and falls to the ground.
I caught it last time.
Oh, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to throw it like that. It's a thing we harbor folk do, passing around cargo and such. Was not meant as provocation or ridicule.
The boyadero stares at you with respect, then gestures towards the trickles of blood adorning your clothes.
I almost had a heart attack.
I'm really sorry, friend. Fritz nearby. Get some Nosafed. Good stuff. Helps against heart attacks, too.
I need to know what's behind these gates. I'm exploring.
My friend, I respect the right to roam. The open range awaits.
Does this mean you can let me through the gate?
I don't operate in that capacity. I'm not a granter of passage. The passage grants itself.
That's simple. I just walk in.
Aye. Walk right past Measurehead and go in.
Past Measurehead?
Yeah, the 2.5 meter tall Semini supremacist there. Walk right past him.
Right.
Then press the button to unlock the door.
Aha.
Then go past him again.
Okay.
And you enter the arbor through the office. Está.
For some reason, it doesn't seem like it's going to be that easy.
Don't worry, I'm sure it's not completely impossible. For example, you could best measure head in a physical confrontation, or you could convert to a Semini supremacist worldview. Or, maybe it actually is completely impossible.
Has anyone ever bested him in a physical confrontation?
Not yet, no. He's incredibly strong.
Nothing a couple of solid hooks from Dexter and Sinister won't fix.
Has any of the scabs tried converting to his worldview?
Jean-Luc himself would say the philosophy has proven overly heroic for the scabs to convert to. Not enough intuition.
Got it. Another thing.
Sure.
What's the strike about anyway?
You know, serious business. I'm sure the big boss will be glad to tell you. You'll have to ask him first.
Quick recap at the beginning of the game. You have you're a detective who has amnesia as a consequence of alcohol poisoning. You are trying to investigate a murder mystery while also simultaneously investigate your own personal background without like giving the game away too much. It's the game is basically a literary, like a visual novel, a playable visual novel, and you know there's a litany of socialist memes in it made by socialists, and we've so far only found our clipboard, but I also don't know where my gun is, nor where my badge is. And this right here is the Senegalese monster.
Nobody betrays your degeneracy.
Yeah, Measurehead. His body totally betrays his degeneracy.
Don't say anything. Size him up first.
Are you admiring my morphophysiology? must be frightening to stand in the shadow of this racial pinnacle. Be calm, Sandwich. You are not in danger, because you are not a threat to me. What is this androgynous display of sexual maturity?
You hear your heart pumping, fast and irregular. Your joints ache and you feel old, but still alive, somehow.
Stop it! You are embarrassing yourself in front of this woman and your pedomorphic friend.
Pedomorphic.
This display of weakness may appeal to older women with a stronger maternal instinct, but it is a liability here on Battlefield Martinez.
Jean-Luc, his body is betraying his degeneracy pretty hard. Maybe you can ask him to leave.
My body is unimportant. I'm with the police, and we need to get into the harbor.
That is precisely the negligence that has led you to succumb to Al Ghul. You reek of it. An invisible sword of Al Ghul emerges from your throat. You cannot see it, but others can. It is making the woman in my company sick.
You're right. I'm an alcoholic. Now I need to enter the harbor.
No, you don't. You need to get another drink. Occidental Haplogroup B4 is done giving orders around here. The influence of the ham sandwich race is waning.
Show him the ham still got it.
I'm the police, and I need you to comply now.
Jerking motions. Signs of a late-stage neurodegenerative disorder. How far the Occidental Haplogroup has fallen. You were once a noble and powerful race. You gave the world eugenics, electricity, and powerful weapons of war like missiles and aerostatic aircraft. You made great gains in metallurgy, race theory, and statecraft.
I'm beating his ass this time.
You dominated lesser cultures, like the deformed Hemians and the inexplicably potato-obsessed Khoikos. But now your ascent to the genetic summit has halted. You are obsessed with sadness and with frivolous pop culture. You will be superseded. Isn't that right, babe?
It is, baby, yeah. You know it.
There is a button right behind him, just out of reach. It must be the one that opens the door to the harbor.
Push him out of the way. Oh!
That is right. You should leave the stage of history with dignity by inviting the other races to a great world war. Bring your troops to the Simonine Islands and to Boogie Street, and we will pulverize you. When you are gone, we will build a museum for you. The walls will be lined with bottles of Al Ghul, your beloved beverage. Inside, we will store the odes to homosexuality you call art, and your microcephalic skulls.
This is your chance. He's talking. Rip into him with a punch and catch him off guard. No, don't rip into anyone. You're sensitive. Remember? Communicate. Go ahead. Don't be shy. Just ask for race secrets.
I need some of that race stuff in my brain. Suck it to me.
Inane popular culture lingo. It is intellectually uninteresting to suck anything to an infant such as you.
I'm doing it.
Just like that, instinct took over. A solid strike straight into his throat.
I've never
into
done
the
that.
cartilage. You could swear you felt the soft palate break.
I've never actually gotten that successful. That's crazy.
The man is reeling.
Oh my
gasping
God.
for air. Time stands still around you. In the distance, the sounds of the harbor are falling silent. All you hear is a small gurgling sound as a trickle of blood appears on the man's lip. He's open. Rip into him. Right hook. Escalate it. Get intimate with him. Bring the hurt
Back up and
closer.
perform a 360 flying spin kick or rip into him with a right hook. Oh, everyone says spin kick. Oh, I'm gonna fail this, aren't I? Oh! What the fuck?
The man lands with a dull thump, like a broken down puppet of muscles and sinew. For a moment, he still tries to keep his head up, dazed eyes looking at you with unimaginable surprise. To your left is the button.
Disco Inferno!
As you slam your fist on the button, the man collapses entirely, his head rolling to the side.
Looks like you're the new measurehead now.
Her voice is surprisingly calm.
Oh my god, dude. I haven't gotten a win that hard since I served you a top of the hour ad break exactly at 7 p.m. I just killed the CEO of racism, which kind of sucks because I wanted to learn racism from him.
No one is the new measurehead. Let's go before he gets up.
That was crazy. I'm so fucking cracked with it. Oh shit, wait, hold on, let's save. Dude, I've never done that before. I've played this game before. Every worker equals member of the board is written on the top of the flyers. This is a Dewey typewriter. The model name is on the back. Standard office file cabinet. The drawers seem to be locked.
On second glance, someone has forgotten to properly close one of the drawers.
Dude, that's it, dude. The best solution to that level of racism
Let's see
is a
what's
swift...
inside, he thinks. The drawer opens smoothly. Inside is a well-organized selection of brown folders. Hundreds of documents containing logistical data. Two kinds of transactions stand out. Materials coming into Revachol from the outside world, from Muindi, Grad, and even Ilmara. And the same materials being handed over to companies inside Revachol, Kuron, Coal City, La Delta, and Jamrock are listed among the many districts where the imports are being sold. It's hard to make sense of this thicket of company names, dates, quantities, and percentages. You try to focus, but the lines are getting blurry. Whatever's hidden here is hidden well. Concentration isn't enough. Only a trained accountant with a background in logistics would be able to really make sense of it. However, there is a little handwritten note stuck on the side of the drawer. It appears to be a to-do list written in large, uneven capital letters. Remember, Leo, Everart's shoes, special whirling borscht, water Everart's plants, sweep office floor, more banners. All items on the list have been crossed out, and the note itself is crumpled.
Everard Clare, probably. The head of the Debarders Union. One of his aides must have left it. Nothing incriminating here.
What is so special about this borscht? Code for drugs? Remember, Leo, all items on the list, the drawer, slide.
What's this? Someone left the coffee machine on. Dark liquid in the pot looks almost sentient. Wait, what is this? Postcard Le Jardin. Ooh, magnesium. Good stuff. Neat office shades. Gotta put that on, dude. Oh, -1 drama, but +1 visual calculus. Book La Fumée, Volume 1. Radio's emitting a strange buzzing sound.
An imposing combination of a punch clock and a payphone is looking down at you from the wall. A note on the side says, tokens unavailable due to strike. Use change.
Don't go to Everard, the chair is coming up? Wait, what do you mean?
The machine swallows your coin. and seems to be waiting for your next move. It's unclear whether you actually have muscle memory. Right now, your finger is just drawing vaguely occult patterns in the air.
The only chair that's coming up right now is my chair because I gotta go pee real quick.
Sure, why not? Muscle memory is a tricky thing. Nothing tricky about that. You just do, fail, repeat.
Interact
The front of this quarterly journal features a large satirical portrait of the late King Friesel. From the sides of his head,
I'm not even doing a
pair
physical
of
build,
white
and I'm still
antlers
physically
spread
besting a
to
guy.
the
When I did
corners
the
of
physical
cover.
build, I couldn't.
Because white antlers are one of the symbols of communism. They represent a society in accord with the natural world and, at the same time, above it. A shameful way to treat a former king. Even one as underwhelming as Friesel. Because Friesel was incompetent, foolish, and cruel. In short, the embodiment of everything the communards wished to overthrow. It's satire, you see. To your disappointment, there aren't any full-color pictures to direct your attention. Just column after column of closely set text, interrupted occasionally by little doodles. After rifling the pages with your thumb the magazine is divided into several sections. International developments,
Leftist humor,
Kunst und Kultur, and local concerns. Just inside the cover, there's also an editor's note. Comrade, as you know, this journal takes its name from Mazov's immortal expression, Du cristal à la fumée. This was his way of describing the way the rigid, crystalline structures of capitalist ideology turn to smoke under communism. But, like the structures of capitalist ideology, we too are at risk of going à la fumée, unlike many publications which are content to spoon-feed their readers reassuring drivel.
Oh my
La
god.
Fumée is committed to telling the radical truth, even when that truth may drive away potential subscribers. So please, if you value our radical Mazovian perspective on contemporary politics,
it's Nathan J.
culture,
Robinson.
and international affairs, please consider subscribing today. Yours in struggle, the editors.
Kim, I think this is a communist magazine.
What do you expect? It was laying around the office of the Debarders Union. They're probably bankrolling the thing.
You flip back to the front of the magazine.
Oh,
The
Kim is an
table of
anti-communist.
contents unfolds
Thank
before
God.
you. This section includes a long, tedious critique of the latest round of free trade negotiations between the EPIS nations and the Free State of Semenine. You also skip over an article about heavy fuel oil smuggling along the Messina border, something about bear wrestling in Samara, book riots in Yugograd. Face it, you really aren't interested in foreign affairs. You're not even sure where most of these countries are. You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you.
What is Kunst und Kultur?
It takes a moment, but gradually it dawns on you that Kunst und Kultur must mean arts and culture. As you leaf through this section, you come across several reviews of recent radio plays, as well as a brief artist spotlight featuring a local artist identified only as CS. The main feature, though, is a long essay titled Tip Top Tournée. This so-called artist spotlight is really just a brief Q&A, made all the briefer by the subject's evident hostility to her interviewer.
Just a moment, what is this tip-top tournée?
The actual article is surprisingly light on details, but after skimming a page or two, you gather that it has something to do with motor carriage racing.
All right, let's see what these communists have to say about tip-top.
You think you're settling in for a relaxing recap of the most recent season, maybe sprinkled with some nice anecdotes about a few of the more colorful drivers. Instead, you find yourself skimming a 10,000-word feature about all the politically problematic aspects of Tip Top Tournée.
Wait, what's wrong with
Where
tip-top?
to even start? For one, there's the crass commercialism of its sponsorships. And then there's the practically criminal emphasis on deadly motor crashes.
Hang on, who wrote this
Oddly
stuff?
enough, this article has 2 bylines. Nasteb Encolada Bernal and Exilus Buka.
What's so bad about sponsorships?
Under capitalism, the article says, every pursuit has its price. Every pleasure, even one as elemental as the joy of racing others around a track, is reduced to an advertising opportunity. Thus, the so-called tourney becomes a competition between increasingly meaningless brand signifiers. Your discount laundry detergent racing against a pack of Astra cigarettes, or even a fritter.
Right, but then you get to see them crash.
And that precisely is what's problematic about it. Were it not for the promise of random, spectacular violence, audiences would quickly lose interest. At the end of the day, it's the destruction of these 750,000 real races that you're really watching for.
Wow, you're right. I really am just in it for the violence.
You see, one cannot avoid the conclusion that Tip Top Tourney is simply the apotheosis of spectacular entertainment under capitalism.
Kim, did you know that Tip Top Tourney is actually an orgiastic ritual of capitalist destruction? I had no idea.
I can safely say the thought had never crossed my mind, Detective.
Wonder what else is actually just a metaphor for life under capitalism.
I'm sure most things are, if the young men who wrote this article are to be believed.
You seem to be harboring a little bit of resentment towards communism, Kim.
If I had to wager, I'd say they've never even seen the inside of a motor, much less a motor race. I take whatever they write with a large grain of salt.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you.
Let's see what they mean by local concerns.
Unsurprisingly, much of this section is taken up with articles declaring unqualified support for the dockworkers' strike. You skim the headlines. Paint the harbor red and white. Martinez tames the wild pines. A city in revolt. First we take Martinez, then we take La Delta.
That's why I brought up the Tip Top Racing to Kim, because I know he loves
Finally,
cars.
there's a brief article by the writer, G. Martin, accusing the owner of the Cape Side apartments of illegally attempting to evict certain communist tenants simply for not having paid their rent.
Damn communists should have killed a lot of them when they had the chance. If it weren't for the wild pines, all those mooches would be out of a job. Charging rent to live somewhere is pretty outrageous.
The writer G. Martin remarks dryly that capitalists love wealth redistribution, so long as it's only redistributed upward. You flip back to the front of the magazine.
There you go.
Hey. Psst. Psst. Hey. You. Yes.
Who, me?
You. Word on the street is you're ready to start building communism again.
Again?
Yes, you're ready to start building communism again. You've built it before. They've built it before. Hasn't really worked out yet. But neither has love. Should we just stop building love, too?
Can't argue with that.
So, what about all that communism you've promised to build? Word on the street is you've woken up from 1,000 years of slumber, promising to erect a version of communism many times greater than any attempted before. Is that true?
How come there's a word on the
You
street?
keep saying things like, down with the bourgeoisie, eat the rich, sodomize the landowners, impale all people who have more than 25 real in their pocket, literally murder all human beings regardless of their political beliefs. That kind of stuff.
Oh, right. That does sound like me.
Funky style. Very funky. So tell me, do you have any questions before we fire up the big communism builder? Or do we get right down to it?
Wait, first, what is this communism even about?
Failure. It's about failure.
Failure?
Yes, abject failure. Total, irreversible defeat on all fronts. Absolutely vanquished, beaten, curb-stomped and pissed on. Until you came along. You will reverse the fortune of the workers of the world. You alone, against every living thing, against every human alive. 800 trillion real in the hands of an impossibly well-organized ruling class. Towering city blocks of bankmen who have the ears of prime ministers. Million-headed armies of nations and the love of your own mother. You against the atom. The charm and the spin. Where the whole world failed. Matter failed to bend to human will. Human will failed to get out of bed and tie its laces. You alone, single-handedly, will rebuild the dreams of the working class. You are the last communist.
Yes.
Now get to work, comrade.
Roll up your sleeves and start building communism.
Oh yeah. Get the firing squads and the animal wagons ready.
Wait, what? Firing squads? You didn't say anything about
Too
those.
late to back out now. You can't make an omelette without breaking a few million eggs.
All right, then. Wait, why can't I internalize it yet? Oh, I have to unlock it? No! I have to unlock a new slot. What are we doing here? What were we doing? I want to do more into rhetoric, dude. You're dumb, increase your logic. I know, but it's too low. All right, fuck it. Let's go upstairs. Oh, this is a sick jacket.
Looks like someone left his tarpaulin cloak hanging on the railing here. There is a white rectangle
That's my
clearly
jacket.
visible on its back. This is your cloak. You can feel it.
Lieutenant, I think that's mine.
Yes, it does bear the RCM insignia, and we are the only detectives in Martinez.
You think I should get
The
it?
service cloak issued to you by your station? Yes, I do.
As your fingers touch the tarpaulin, it almost feels like the cloak wants to deliver a message of comfort through your fingertips. I will shield you from the elements and give my life for yours. That's what the cloak is relaying. Hobocop. Technically, you wouldn't be a cop anymore, but a hobo. That would mean game over for the cop chapter of your adventures. But who knows where the hobo part takes you? To the bar? The old L'Assommoir? To the pier or the sewers? To Le Royaume, where for 300 years they interred the dead. You could plunder royalist crypts
Hobo
for
cop
long-forgotten triple malt bourbon. Then fight the Aramakan beast that lurks the bottommost sepulchres. The secrets of the city are all yours at last.
I'm cooked. I have to accept it. There's nothing else I can do. I don't have enough skill points to forget it. I want to replace it with communism, with Mazovian communism. How do I... Yes! I'm gonna be rich!
This is the night watchman's booth. The name on the door reads, René Arnaud.
Kim, I'm gonna take a quick look inside.
If you must. But please hurry. We are pretty easy to spot up here.
Nothing incriminating catches your eye. The cabinets are clean and their sparse contents meticulously organized. There's a framed photograph on the table.
I take the picture.
It's a black and white photo of a young couple out in a street fair. The man is young, dark-skinned, and dressed in a Royal Carabinieri uniform. The girl is smiling playfully at the camera.
Why did you take that?
I'm a cop. It's instinctual to collect evidence.
Fine. But let's move. I don't want to be seen snooping around.
A rusting control panel with several knobs. 2 buttons marked Marche and Arrête are faded with use.
Should I fuck
It
this
seems
up?
to control the large crane above. A container is attached to its hook block.
Marche.
With a loud grind, the crane shifts overhead, moving a massive metal container through the air.
I wonder what's inside the container. Communism?
And with a surprisingly quiet thunk,
Perhaps.
the crane places the container down. This crane was built with a purpose, which has now been fulfilled. To move this container.
What's inside the
Who
container?
can say? All you know is, it's special.
I can't see how that was worth the ruckus. Except for seeing the crane in action, which I admit was satisfying.
Press arrête.
The crane does not return to its original position. Before you stands a cargo container, just one of many in the yard.
Lieutenant, I think there's something special about this
You do?
container?
Because I don't.
What? Why not?
There are a million containers here. Why are you fixating on this one?
I don't know, Kim. It just feels special.
It's a cargo container, detective, just like all the others. We are not here to interact with containers. We are here to talk to the Union, right?
No reply.
Open
You
the door.
attempt to turn the handle, to no avail. The doors seem to be mechanically locked. To your left, the lieutenant considers your actions with some puzzlement. Why are you even trying to open a door with rhetoric?
Because getting physical wasn't an
Because
option.
what wasn't an option?
Using my body over my wits.
Now is not the time to get philosophical, detective. You can do that after hours.
Ooh, the fall gloves. I'm getting dripped out, baby.
Container, container, I'll turn you nice and red. Container, container, put the logos on. Container, container, used to be Wild Pines. Container, container, now belongs to Everard.
Do not interrupt the little man in his joyous activity.
Container, container, Everard, 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 he looks after everyone. Huh? Well, hey there. How can I help you, mister?
The look in his deep blue eyes is as sincere as you've ever seen. Kind of makes you feel like an arsehole for no apparent reason.
I see you are not a union man, mister. Did you get lost? You're not one of them scabs, are you?
What is it with you people and scabs?
I mean, I don't personally mind. Folks is just folks, you know, and folks gotta eat. Just some of the other guys don't look too kindly on the scabbing kind, if you know what I mean, mister.
What are you doing with the containers?
Oh, I'm just making some covers for them containers here. Yes, I am, yes, I am. So it's easier for the crane operators to spot them.
Let me ask you about something else.
Sure, mister. About what?
Where's everyone? The harbor is empty.
Oh, most of the guys are down at the gates, keeping the scabs from coming in. We're on a strike. The whole union is. You don't have to work when you're on strike. Ha! We haven't worked for 2 months now.
So no one is working?
Not everyone is down there, of course. Mr. Everard is in his office, where he always is. And Jean-Luc is guarding the gate. But Titus and his boys got into some drunken trouble and Everard sent them on a nice vacation. For a week or so.
What kind of trouble did this Titus and his friends get into?
Oh, I'm not really supposed to talk about that. That's union business. Him and his boys stirred up something in town. Probably drank too much and got into a fight or something. I heard Mr. Everett telling them to take some time off.
Don't go all bad cop on this simple, friendly fellow.
But what did they actually do?
I guess the boys got a bit too rowdy and had to let out some steam. I don't really know the details. That's just how boys are, you know. I haven't been in a fight since I was in middle school.
Easy, Leo. Let's keep this on the hearties.
Okay, Leo, let's hear about this fight you got into.
I remember I was the runt of the class. The bigger boys always used to pick on me. You see, I had a bit of a temper back in the day. Flew off the handle like nobody's business. But Mr. Everett and his brother always came to help. Once they beat old Noel Becker so bad he needed stitches on his head. Noel never started another fight with anyone after. Mr. Everett and Mr. Edgar are real nice guys, mister. You should go talk to Mr. Everett. I'm sure you'll be good friends.
You're never getting anything useful out of him. It's good enough you found out Everard has a brother called Edgar, and he helped Leo.
Oh, yes, yes. I leave all kinds of notes for myself. That old head of mine ain't so good at keeping things in no more.
Yeah, he was.
I almost forgot
He was
about
bullied
the
for.
borscht.
He was bullied, being called a c word. It's messed up. What was that about the borscht?
Oh, yes. I've been taking special whirling borscht to the men every day since the strike started. It's very, very good. Makes a man feel so warm and happy. I feel like I could take on Mr. Renadan's boar dogs every time the lunch is done.
Power borscht, huh? Never heard of a borscht that turns little guys into dogfighters. Alcohol, however.
What do you mean by taking this soup to the men? Is it for striking?
Yes, yes. I'm taking it to them. The borscht keeps them happy and in fighting spirits. Makes you all warm inside. They brew it in the whirling in rags.
Hold up, who makes it at the
Oh,
Whirling?
the Whirling's cook. He makes it. Them is always talking with Mr. Manana in that weird language and laughing together. He doesn't speak what we speak. He's from Grad.
Looks like the boss is spiked. I'm gonna look into
Oh,
it.
sure, mister. Sure. You do that. Yes, sir.
You work here?
Yes, yes. Everybody needs a job, and this is mine. I'm Leonard, by the way. Leonard Bellick. But everyone calls me Leo. I'm like Mr. Everett's right-hand man when Mr. Edgar is out of town. And Mr. Edgar's right-hand man when Mr. Everett is away. Actually, Miss Beaufort is the right-hand man, but she's a lady.
Who is this, Miss Beaufort?
A real pretty lady with a skin like those Douai Sucre candy bars my missus likes so much. Them are real nice to suckle on once the dinner is done and me and the missus sit down beside the radio. But I can't listen to the radio all the time. There's so much to do around here and I'm always busy keeping things running here. Yes,
Stay on this Miss Beaufort topic.
Hold on, who's this Miss Beaufort you mentioned?
Oh, Lizzie. She is a real sharp tool. Mr. Everett put her through some fancy school and everything, east of the river. 4 years she was gone, and when she came back, she was all fancy and lawyerly. But she's a real nice girl. Grew up in this here neighborhood, knows everybody and gets along with everyone. Real pillar of the community one day, I'm sure.
For a fraction of a second, there's sadness in his eyes.
If me missus and me was to have a child, I'd be real happy if she turned out like her. But she can't have kids. Dr. Lemaitre said so. And she knows about such things. Been a doctor for almost 50 years, she has.
I think you're doing a great job around here,
Yes,
Leo.
this place really seems to run like clockwork. Keep it up, Leo.
Well, thanks a lot. Coming from you, it means a lot, really. Sometimes I feel some of the guys don't really get how much I bust my ass for them here. But you guys are alright.
The white rectangle on your clothes might not mean an awful lot in Martinaise, but the recognition from an authority figure made Leo's day.
What's in that container over there?
Oh, that one. That should be empty as far as I know. Lots of containers here have nothing in them. They're just waiting to be loaded up.
Told you.
I'm looking for the leader of the Dockworkers Union.
Oh, you want Mr. Everett then? He's an awfully nice fellow, he is. Him and his brother are both nice fellows. They've lived their entire lives in this here neighborhood. Guys like Mr. Everett and Mr. Edgar, his brother, are real good guys. Made Martinaise what it is today. Mr. Everett and Mr. Edgar and I went to the same school we did when we were boys.
Easy now, Leo. I just want to know where I can find this man.
Mr. Everett is where he always is. In his office, of course. Bye-bye now.
Before you is a walrus of a man seated behind a large desk. He looks up from his work, not the least bit surprised to see you. With great effort, he straightens himself up in his chair, yet says nothing. He simply stares at you.
Are you in charge of the dock workers?
Welcome, Mr. Dubois, Mr. Kitsuragi. It's good of you two to stop by. Please, have a seat. I'm Everard Clare, head of the Debarders Union here in Martinaise. I'd offer you my hand, but unfortunately my health prevents me from getting up. You understand?
He looks extremely comfortable. The tiny folding chair, on the other hand, looks like a tortured.
You go ahead, detective.
Whatever he has in store for you, it can't be good, he thinks. Forget about that. What's with this Dubois stuff? You're getting some seriously bad vibes from that name.
Oh, I forgot I don't know my name. Why are you calling me Mr. Dubois?
Please, Mr. Dubois, let us converse in a civilized manner, as equals. Take a seat. I insist.
It's nothing. Yes, that's probably right. He's trying to throw you off your game with this Dubois nonsense. Don't give him the pleasure.
Excellent, Mr. Dubois. I can see that you're a reasonable man, and reasonable men can be of great use to one another.
Remain serious.
So tell me, how can the head of the Debarders Union help a representative of the Revachol Citizens Militia today?
The chair you're sitting on has got to be the most uncomfortable chair in the world. It's violating your backside.
Oh, by the way, I heard you got a rather rude reception from a certain Lawrence Gart. Some people have no manners, it pains me to say. This should take care of that nonsense. It should be sufficient to cover your expenses for a few days and patch over your differences with a cafeteria manager. Go ahead, take it.
Hey, that's 25 real. That's good money. Think of all the stuff you could.
Wait, you know Goff?
Yes, I know Lawrence. He's a real character. No union man in him. A real piece of work, that boy is.
Should I take the check?
Is there anything you'd like to say to me? Or...
No.
No, it's cool.
Cool? I wouldn't go that far. I'm sure there are cooler things than delivering a comically oversized novelty check to a cafeteria manager. But, sure, if that's what's cool nowadays.
I'll take the union money.
Now, I'd like to set your mind at ease about one other matter. Your lost gun. Let me assure you, union people are on it as we speak. I've got my best hounds looking for that lost gun.
His slug-like lips move, but all you hear is an echo. Lost gun, lost gun, lost gun. The world is swallowed by a black hole of fear. Only 2 words escape its gravitational pull. Lost and gun.
How do you know about my lost gun?
I know everything, Harry. Right now, I know that you're worried. Don't be worried. Everything's going to be all right. It's not like you left it loaded. You didn't lose a loaded gun. Local children aren't out there playing with it right now, pointing it into their own mouths. It's in a safe place. I just know it. I have a feeling everything's going to be all right.
Kim?
Officer, we will deal with this later.
I wouldn't be so sure about that.
Uh-oh. I'm cooked.
God, you're sweating. Your knee is jerking. You're about to cry, aren't you? You're about to cry because you lost your gun and those children are gonna shoot themselves with it.
So what? Men cry too.
You want to cry? God.
Mr. Dubois, you don't look so good.
What is this, Mr. Dubois? He keeps repeating. What is he trying to pull here? You need to cool the fuck down. Chill.
Mr. Dubois! Mr. Dubois! Harry!
There are no Harrys. Let your mind go to your safe space.
While Everard is distracted by your odd behavior, the lieutenant's eyes are mapping.
Mr. Dubois, are you okay? Can I get you a glass of water or something? Are you having some kind of medical emergency?
Maybe you could use your hands somehow, in a kind of throw-in motion, like you're throwing that Mr. Dubois act right back at him. He's Mr. Dubois.
Actually, this chair is uncomfortable. I could use that glass of water.
What an odd demonstration of... you got me, Harry. I don't even know what. As entertaining as it was, I'm afraid we're wasting our time. And I'm an extremely busy man, as I'm sure you are too.
Okay, enough. We are here to ask you some questions pertaining to a murder investigation.
Quick, here's your window. Get yourself together and ask him questions. Police officer questions. It is about time to stop embarrassing yourself. Questions will help you regain some of your lost dignity.
Everard, I'm going to leave now, but
Wait.
we might talk again later.
You need this to get in and out through the gate.
Great. Wouldn't want to get
Here,
stuck in here.
you're one of us now. A real red and white union man. Take care, Harry.
I'm going to save it here, and I'm going to end the broadcast with this note, because I'm tired. Love you all, and I will see you tomorrow. I can't believe we KO'd Measurehead, yeah. Hey kids, thanks for watching the Hasanabi official gaming channel.